Welcome to the deep dive. Today we've gathered a mountain of intel, from the Fed's latest numbers to some pretty deep psychological studies, to tackle one giant, fire-breathing dragon: credit card debt. Our mission is to turn all this dry data, all these stats, into an actual personalized battle plan for you. The goal: financial freedom, and fast.
And we really have to go beyond just the numbers because, honestly, the numbers themselves are, well, they're terrifying.
They really are.
Everyone's looking for a clear path out of what our sources are calling a looming financial crisis. So this deep dive is all about the tools, the strategies that promise a shortcut.
But only if you know how to use them.
Exactly. There's always a catch.
Okay, so before we get into the how, let's set the stage. Let's frame the challenge.
That's it.
As of the last quarter, Americans are carrying $1.233 trillion in credit card debt.
$1 trillion. It doesn't even sound like a real number.
It's the highest balance ever recorded. Ever.
And that trend line is what's really alarming. That's a 60% jump since just early 2021.
60%.
This isn't just slow growth. It's an explosion. And for anyone out there who's actually carrying a balance month to month, the average interest rate they are paying is a blistering 22.83%.
So think about that. Your debt isn't just a mountain. It's a volcano that is actively burning your money.
Every single month.
So if you want the blueprint to put out that fire and win this whole challenge, you need to be ready. Hit subscribe right now, smash that like button so we can keep doing these deep dives for you.
And we really want to know what you think.
Oh yeah, drop a comment below. Let us know which strategy you're betting on, Snowball or Avalanche.
The psychological versus the mathematical.
Do that now because we are jumping straight in. Let's start with a reality check.
Okay, so first we have to define the average opponent. What are we up against?
Exactly. For people who carry a balance, and that's almost half of all cardholders, the national average debt is $7,321.
And that's based on the latest data we have from early 2025. It's up nearly 6% in just a year.
So it's not just a big problem, it's a rapidly growing one.
It is, and averages can really hide the full story.
Right, they can be deceptive. Let's talk about the hot zones where this crisis is really boiling over.
Okay, so the sources point to 6 states where the average balance is over $9,000.
Wow.
New Jersey is actually leading the pack at $9,382. But if you're looking for volatility, for the fastest growth,
Where is that?
that's Georgia. Their average debt shot up by over 20% in just 1 year.
20%, that's insane.
And what's making these debts so sticky, so hard to pay off, is the economy. Inflation is keeping these rates just oppressively high.
So if you go to apply for a new card right now, you're in for a shock.
A huge one. The average APR on new offers is even higher than the current average. It's clocking in at 24.04%.
So the cost of borrowing is going up, not down. It's getting harder to escape, not easier.
Which brings us right to the core question, right? Yeah.
If almost half of everyone with a credit card is struggling, what strategy actually works? What can a real person stick with?
It's time for the ultimate payoff battle.
Avalanche versus Snowball, let's go.
This is the classic debate. It's where the math problem becomes a psychology problem.
So let's break down the two fighters. First up, in this corner, the champion of pure math and efficiency, the debt avalanche. What's the blueprint here?
The Avalanche is all about optimization. Pure logic. You list out every single debt you have, but you order them by the highest interest rate first.
Highest APR at the top. Got it.
Then you pay the absolute bare minimum on everything, except that top one. You throw every single extra penny you have at that one high-interest debt until it's gone.
And the math on that is just...
It's better. Right.
It's guaranteed. You pay the least amount of interest over time, which means you get out of debt in the shortest time possible. It's for the disciplined person, the spreadsheet warrior.
Okay. And in the other corner, the crowd favorite, the one built for motivation. The debt snowball.
And the Snowball, it completely ignores the interest rates.
Totally ignores them.
Throws them out the window. Instead, you list your debts by the smallest balance first, smallest dollar amount at the top. And then the same principle, I assume. Pay minimums on everything else and attack that small one.
Exactly. You attack that smallest debt with everything you've got. Once it's paid off, you get this rush. And you take all the money you were paying on that one.
The minimum plus the extra.
Right. And you roll that entire amount into the payment for the next smallest debt. And so on and so on. The payment gets bigger, like a snowball rolling downhill.
Okay, I get the psychological appeal there for sure. But isn't that just a flawed strategy on paper? I mean, if I have a tiny debt at 15% and a huge one at like 29%,
Mm.
and I attack the small one first, I'm just lighting money on fire. I'm losing hundreds, maybe thousands in interest. Why would anyone who understands math choose that?
And that is the perfect way to frame the tension here.
Yeah.
You are 100% correct. Mathematically, the Avalanche is superior every single time, no contest.
But
Behavioral science tells us that the best plan is the one you actually stick to.
so you're saying our human brains get in the way of the spreadsheet?
Completely. Research from places like Northwestern's Kellogg School of Management shows that when you're buried in debt, you are desperate for a win. You need some validation quickly.
A quick win.
Paying off that first small debt gives you this immediate psychological relief. It's a shot of confidence, a little dopamine hit that says, hey, I can do this.
And that feeling of progress is what keeps you in the game.
That's it. The studies show that people who use the Snowball are actually more likely to pay off all their debt in the end. Not because it's faster, but because they don't give up.
That's a huge takeaway. The best plan is useless if you quit in month 3 because you feel like you're getting nowhere.
That's the nuance. I mean, if your rates are all pretty similar, or if you're just a naturally disciplined person, fine. Do the Avalanche. Save the money.
But for most people,
For most people who are struggling with motivation, the quick wins from the Snowball build momentum. And that momentum becomes unstoppable.
I saw a comment on Reddit that put it perfectly. It was something like, math didn't get you into debt, behavior did.
And that's it. You have to solve the behavior problem.
All right, so that's the foundation. Now let's level up. Let's talk about the pro-tier debt hacks, the advanced moves for when the debt just feels crushing.
Okay.
First up, let's talk about the 0% APR heist, the balance transfer.
This is a powerful move, but it's for the organized, tactical player. You have to have a plan.
So the strategy is you're moving your high-interest debt
From your current cards onto a brand new card that's offering a 0% introductory APR.
So you basically get to hit pause on that horrible 22-23% interest rate.
For a while, yes. These promotional periods usually last anywhere from 12 to 21 months.
And in that window, every single dollar you pay goes straight to the principal, no interest.
That's the big win. Zero interest means every payment makes a real dent. It also consolidates your payments, which is simpler.
And I've heard it can even boost your credit score sometimes.
It can, yeah.
Uh-huh.
By opening a new card and spreading out your debt, you can lower your credit utilization ratio, which is a huge factor in your score.
But this feels like a tightrope walk. What happens if you slip? What are the critical fails here?
Well, the first is the entrance fee. It's not totally free.
Right, the balance transfer fee.
Usually 3 to 5% of whatever amount you move.
Yeah.
So if you move 10 grand, that's $300 to $500 right off the top.
Okay, so you have to factor that in. What else?
You generally need good, maybe even excellent credit to get the best 0% offers. And the biggest fail, the absolute worst case scenario, is not paying it all off before the intro period ends.
And then what happens?
The rate skyrockets. The remaining balance jumps to the card's standard APR, which could be even higher than where you started. You could end up worse off.
So this is only for someone with a rock-solid plan to clear that debt in, say, 18 months.
Precisely. And don't forget, just applying for the card puts a hard inquiry on your credit report, which dings your score temporarily.
Okay, so it's a powerful tool, but with serious risks. What if that's not an option? Let's say your credit isn't great. What's next?
The next challenge is what we'll call the card negotiator.
I like it. So instead of switching cards, you fight your current card company directly.
You call them up and you ask for a lower rate. Many people don't even know this is an option.
And they'll just do it.
Sometimes.
Yep.
Card issuers want to keep good customers. They'd often rather take a little less from you than lose you entirely to a competitor.
So what's in the negotiation toolkit? What do you need before you make that call?
First, timing is key. You want to call when you've got a long history of on-time payments.
And you should probably call the card you've had the longest first, right? Leverage that loyalty.
Yes, absolutely. Your number one asset is your payment history. You lead with, I've been a loyal customer for X years and have never missed a payment.
What if you're struggling? Should you mention that?
You can, and you should be honest. Mentioning new financial burdens like a job loss or a medical bill can sometimes open up hardship options.
And what about leverage?
If you've been getting lower offers in the mail from other cards, you use that. I have an offer for 16% from a competitor. Can you match that to keep my business?
And if they say no to a permanent reduction,
Don't give up. Ask for a temporary break. Even getting 1 to 3 percentage points knocked off your rate for a year can save you a ton of money and give you the breathing room you need to really make your Snowball or Avalanche work.
That little bit of breathing room could be everything. But what if it's past that point? What if the debt is just suffocating?
That's when it's time to call in the ultimate rescue tool, credit counseling.
So this is the structured intervention when you just can't do it on your own anymore.
Right. These are typically nonprofit agencies that can provide a path forward that isn't bankruptcy.
So how does it work? You call them up and then what?
It starts with a free, confidential consultation. A trained counselor goes through your entire financial situation with you, income, expenses, all of it.
And if they think you need more help?
They can help you create what's called a debt management plan, or a DMP. And this is the key. The counselor takes over. They deal directly with your creditors.
To do what exactly?
To negotiate two main things. First, lower interest rates across your cards. And second, to consolidate all your monthly payments into one single manageable payment that you make to the agency.
And then the agency pays your creditors for you.
Correct. It takes a massive weight off your shoulders. One payment, lower rates, and no more calls from collectors.
That sounds like a lifeline. We know there are reputable places like MMI or a prison. Is it expensive?
The initial consultation is free. The DMP itself usually has a monthly administrative fee. For MMI, for example, the average is about $25 a month.
And they can waive that.
Yes, a legitimate nonprofit will almost always waive or reduce the fee if you're facing a true financial hardship.
But there has to be a catch. There's always a cost to this level of help. What's the critical caveat here?
There are a couple. First, being in a DMP can be noted on your credit report, which might cause your score to dip for a while.
Okay.
And second, your creditors will often require that you close the accounts that are enrolled in the plan.
Which lowers your available credit and can also hurt your score a bit.
Exactly. It's a serious step for a serious situation. It's not a casual choice.
We've covered a lot of ground: the scale of the problem, the psychological battle of Snowball versus Avalanche, and these advanced hacks. So, what's the final synthesis? What are the rules of engagement we've uncovered?
The rules are pretty clear, I think. To truly escape debt, you have to combine the mathematical efficiency of things like the Avalanche or a balance transfer.
With the psychological momentum that you get from the Snowball or the structured support of credit counseling.
Exactly. You have to fix the numbers on the page, but you also have to fix the behavior in your head.
And really, the best strategy of all is prevention. It starts long before there's even a crisis.
For sure. To avoid that holiday debt hangover, for example, you should be building a sinking fund in a high-yield savings account all year.
Plan ahead. Set a budget based on what you actually spent last year, not what you hope to spend.
The ultimate win is not having to fight the battle in the first place.
So, before we sign off, let's leave everyone with one final piece of data to chew on. While the national debt hit that record $1.233 trillion, our sources show that 11 states actually decreased their average credit card debt last year.
Places like Louisiana, down over 8%. North Dakota, down almost 6%.
So here's the thought. If the national total is exploding, but people in these specific states are succeeding, who are they? What are they doing differently?
Are they all just super disciplined Avalanche users? Or have they mastered the behavioral side with the Snowball?
Something to think about as you start building your own blueprint.
Until next time, stay efficient and stay motivated.
We'll see you on the next deep dive.